What's up everybody, I'm Nate. Today we are going to find out how much faster are Microspikes than bare trail running shoes for running in the winter. Find out. Today we're going to be testing out two options. One from Khatoola, the Exospike, and another option, which I will let you know the brand at the end of the video. It's a secret. To test the spikes, I ran the same trail 3 times with all of the options, and I wanted to pick a trail that has a good mix of snow and ice, uphill and downhill, as well as some flat sections. I thought Green Mountain in Golden, Colorado would be the perfect setting for this test. I ran a loop, and it starts out with about a 600-foot climb to the top of the trail, and then a little bit of a flat section, and then there is a long descent back to the trailhead. These clips are from all 3 options, so you can get a sense of the grip of each choice. Now, I ran all of the tests in the North Face Vective Infinite trail running shoes. I just got these, so there is a lot of life left in the tread on the bottom. For Microspikes, I picked up the Khatoola Exospike. These are different than some of the other Microspikes in that they don't have aggressive spikes that might clip you on the side of the leg when you're running. I talked to the guy at REI and he recommended these. They have 12 tungsten carbide metal tips on the bottom in the forefoot and the heel, and then a thorough rubber upper to secure to your trail running shoe. And then I am also testing out a budget option. I picked these up for only $8, which is so cheap. I just had to test it out. Similar to the Khatoola, there are spikes on the bottom. There's 4 in the front and then 2 in the rear. And then to secure to your foot, there is a rubber binding that attaches at the front and the back of the heel. So admittedly, I've been hesitant to buy Microspikes. I do a lot of trail running, but it is mostly during the warmer months on trails that are dry. Now, I do go for runs in the winter, but most of the time it's around the neighborhood, or I hop on a treadmill, or maybe I do go out to the trails, but it's really slow and I don't do that often. Running in just the trail running shoes, no spikes on, I felt like I had enough traction on the uphill, and then on the flat, it also just felt like I was running on a normal trail. But then in the downhill, I did notice a significant performance issue in that I didn't have the confidence to kind of bomb down the hills as I normally would in the summer. I had to walk a lot of sections when it was icy, and so I definitely felt like the bare trail running shoes really suffered the most on the downhill, which is most often when you're the fastest during a trail run. And then running in the Khatoola Exospikes, these had a lot of grip. You know, I didn't notice that much of a difference when I was going uphill and when I was going on the flat sections. It felt just like a regular trail running shoe. But then on the downhill, these things really shone. I felt blazingly fast on the downhill. I thought that I had crushed my previous time in running in just the trail running shoes. Here's a quick reaction from the Khatoola run. So, not gonna lie, when I finished my run in the trail running shoes, that felt pretty fast, but just got done in the spikes and that felt really fast. So I'm gonna check the time, see how big of a difference it was, but that felt fast. And that's mostly because of all of the metal tips on the bottom that just gave me a lot of confidence and could allow me to stride like I normally would in the summertime when the trails are dry. The budget option performed similarly to the Khatoola. I have to admit that, you know, on the uphill and the flats, it was just like a trail running shoe. No real difference there. But then on the downhill, the studs did provide grip. You know, I wouldn't say as much grip as the Khatoola, but there was still a decent amount of grip. I will say that there was quite a bit of pressure on the top of my foot from how these are secured to the shoe. And the Khatoola does a really good job of just kind of wrapping all the way around your shoe so that it's comfortable while you hike or run. With the budget option, I didn't slip out of these at all, nor did I in the Khatoola. They stayed on my shoe the entire run. When it comes to results, you know, the results kind of surprised me. They were all actually fairly similar in time, with only a minute or 2 different between all of the options. Surprisingly, the budget option was actually the fastest, and the conditions were by far the worst that day. So, it is so windy out testing
budget option, and I'm having to break trail. It's gonna be probably a slower time.
It was so windy, and there was a lot of breaking trail. There was a lot of fresh snow. It was pretty brutal out there. And after I ran in the Exo Spikes, I thought that I had totally crushed the time that I set with the trail running shoe. You know, I got to the base and was just feeling like I bombed down the downhill. I was running so fast. To nobody's surprise, the budget brand ended up being from Walmart. Where else are you gonna find spikes that cheap? But they worked pretty well, so I gotta give them credit. One of the bigger realizations I had during this test was how big of a difference your line is when you're trail running. And what I mean by that is like, where are you specifically placing your foot on the trail? Line choice is definitely important when you're trail running in the summer. You know, are you going over certain sections of loose rock? Or are you trying to find the sections of gravel that are very compact? And it can make a big difference in how fast you run and how confident you are running. And I have to say that that is like such a bigger deal when you're running in the winter. And this really played out when I was running in the Bear trail running shoes, because I had to be very conscious of where I was stepping. And once you kind of get into that mindset of like, okay, I need to see where I'm placing every single foot strike, it starts to feel more natural, and you can get more confidence when you're actually moving over that terrain. So to wrap up, are Microspikes worth it? I think Microspikes are really designed for that person who's running a lot in the winter, somebody who's going to be on the trail a couple times a week and needs to continually run through the winter. But if you're okay just running around the neighborhood or going on a trail run every once in a while in the winter, and you're not going to be setting any PRs, then these Microspikes probably aren't for you. Also, if you're somebody who lacks confidence moving over ice or snow, maybe you don't have the best balance, Microspikes will definitely give you a greater sense of security when you're going over those icy patches. Let me know what you think about my test in the comments below. Are you somebody who uses Microspikes? I'd love to hear about it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more outdoor videos. Thank you.